started from NUTM since we started in 2020. So we've incubated 32 ventures. And 3 stands for $3 million that those 32 ventures have already attracted as investments into their businesses. So real good progress. So let me first welcome you all. I would like to start by welcoming the judges. I cannot see them, but I believe Yomi, Ola, Francis, and Nkem are the judges, and hopefully they are in the room. So thank you very much for joining to help inspire these younger ones as they go on in their business venture life. I'd also like to thank any partners in the room as well. We have relied on our partners to be able to get the university to the point in which we are. But also welcome to faculty, staff, students, and some of our special guests who are attending both in the room and online as well. I think it's good to highlight that NUTM, of course, aims to build a world-class university, which we describe as the MIT of Africa, a very unique institution within the continent. We intend to develop innovative leaders who will impact Africa and impact the world at large. And we have gone about this very deliberately by ensuring that we have world-class faculty to teach our students. And so most of our faculties come from Stanford, MIT, UPenn, Oxford. These are the latest, who have the latest in knowledge and teaching methods, and our students have been exposed to that. Our approach is also of experiential, practical learning. So we are not one of memorization and regurgitation. We actually, ensure that our students have practical learning as they go along. And today is an example of that. But we're very focused on industry. Everything we do is targeted towards making our students to become relevant for industry, be that in our curriculum that is curated by industry or by the linkages we have either through a shadow leader internship with corporates or the guest speakers that we have regularly. And I will say that there are 4 legs of what makes NUTM unique, irrespective of the students that come to our campus. We ensure that they are taught technology, leadership, entrepreneurship, and what we call the soft skills. Soft skills, critical thinking, problem solving, public speaking, things that make them impact the world more effectively. So irrespective of what course a student will do on our campus, they will do those 4 elements. And by September, of course, we'll be starting our degree programs, starting with both undergraduate and postgraduate programs as we start to scale the university. So as I think you will have had in the 4 legs of what I mentioned about what makes NUTM distinct, entrepreneurship is at the heart of it. And this, for us, is about relevance to solve problems in society, whether it's problems about health, agriculture, whatever sectors. Entrepreneurship is a way to solve these problems. Entrepreneurship allows us to create jobs, create employment for people, and also bring investments to the continent. And so this is a mindset and a skill that we teach all the students that come through our campus, so that, whether they continue with the business ventures that are incubated on campus, or whether they go on to work for corporations, the mindset of entrepreneurship is one that they will have all their lives. And so even those who go on to work for corporates become entrepreneurs in those organizations, change agents, innovative staff, creative staff, who are always looking to solve problems and have the tools and skills to solve problems. And so the TEDLab, of course, is the way in which we execute the development of our students for this entrepreneurship mindset, a capstone project approach, and it's a cornerstone of our program. Um, it's where we really apply all the theory to practice. And so, what they learn from the world-class faculty, the students have to turn that into real life solutions. It requires creative thinking from them. It requires innovative thinkings, but we also support them, of course, with faculty through their thought processes. And so all students have to go through this. And we're happy that we have seen huge progress from the outcome of this uh, approach to learning. I think when we look at our alumni, 45% of them, that's nearly half, have continued with the business ventures that they started on campus. I think this must be one of the highest in the world, where nearly half of students leave university not looking for work, but already clear on the business ventures they are going to drive. So we're very proud of that. So I'm sure, as you can see, the students, though I'm not in the room, but I can sense that they are all ready. I know they've worked very hard. They've had sleepless nights, and I know that they are all geared up to try and showcase what they have done, and hopefully be able to take comments, tears, and inputs from all, both judges and those who have come to attend physically or online. So I wish the students success. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to hearing about your projects and how they all go. And for all our guests and judges and partners, I want to thank you once again. I hope you will enjoy the day. I hope you participate actively and that you'll be able to help even improve these processes as we go along. I promised I was going to end with two figures as well. So I will end with 610. 600 is the number of jobs that our ventures that incubated from the universities have created in the last 3 years. 600 jobs. And we're very happy that our students are creating jobs rather than just looking for jobs. And 10 is the amount in millions of dollars that one of our biggest ventures generates in a month. So one of our flagship venture that emanated from the campus is called MyStash. And MyStash today has a monthly turnover of $10 million. That is the capability that this approach to learning is able to create. So thank you very much. I just wanted to welcome you and to wish each and every one a very, very enjoyable and fruitful next few hours. Thank you very much.
Welcome everyone once again. I'm just going to introduce our judges very briefly. I'm sure we all know who they are, but as long as you've been here on earth with the rest of us. All right, so first we have Dr. Ola Brown. Again, I'm only doing this because it's conventional to do so. I know we all know who they are. Dr. Ola Brown is the founder of HealthCap Africa, a company she's been running for the past close to 14 years now. HealthCap is so HealthCap essentially invests in two asset classes, right? Infrastructure and venture capital. There's a lot more to that, but I'm just going to stop here so that for the sake of time, Okay, let me finish introducing those that are here before I move on to. We also have Mr. Kemweke. Mr. Kem has been in the startup ecosystem for a number of years as a PM engineering innovation specialist. He's been with Microsoft for a couple of years now, doing amazing things. We also have, as a judge today, Mr. Bayomi Awobokun. Bayomi is currently the general managing partner at CIB General Partners, a VC firm. Because before then, he was the founder of NU Retail and Supply and the former CEO of Oando Marketing PLC. He's currently on his way, just a few minutes away. And then on the panel of judges, finally, we have Mr. Francis Sani. Francis Sani is the technical advisor, innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital to the Honorable Minister of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy. Again, he's a few minutes away and will be joining us soon. I would say that unfortunately Lagos happened to them, but you know, apparently there's a very serious traffic on the mainland, somewhere on the mainland. Okay, so we are going to start now. Our boss, Mr. Fola, just walked in. I imagine him. I imagine he will have a few things to say.
Said everything I need to say over the course of the year. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Oh, you remember? Thank you. Good morning, judges. Thank you for making it. I've really said everything I need to say. Do you guys remember the very first class we had on TEDLab? And we spoke about what we expect over the course of the year. Do you remember? And everybody spoke about the things they wanted to do. And I think for me, the biggest thing was self-awareness. I want you to get to a position of self-awareness and spatial awareness. You know, the worst thing, I guess it's also the best thing, but the worst thing a founder can have is delusion that they're the best thing since sliced bread. But it's also the best things you can have, because sometimes it's good to have that belief that you can do it. But just listening to you guys pre-pitch yesterday, normally I have plenty of comments, but yesterday I was just like, okay, go on, set 1 or 2 comments. Because I feel like you've gotten to a position where you understand that this thing is really about finding problems and solving. It's not about your ego. It's not about looking cool. It's not about coming to pitch. It's about solving a real problem. And I'm delighted that the teams that you're going to be listening to today have found problems that they can solve. And it's fine if they don't solve it completely today or to your taste. Remember, as intelligent and smart as these people are, ultimately you're not building for them. You're building for people who have problems. So I want you guys to go out today, have fun, pitch your heart out. Some people have been pitching all week, not calling names, that are still pitching till last night. But pitch your heart out. But remember, the best thing you can get out of this experience is learning how to solve problems for real people. So once again, I'm so proud of your growth. I expect to have t-shirts from everybody. Like this one, everybody has their t-shirts. So I expect that you have one in extra large to accommodate this stomach, okay? But once again, have fun. Chika, when do we start?
We should start. I think first we should.
All right, who's Zibo going first? All right, put your hands together for Zibo.
Um, Good morning, everyone. My name is Love Mosaku, and I am most delighted to introduce you to Jibo Beauty. Very quickly, I'll share the story of my co-founder, Sambe. A while ago, Sambe had acne, and then she went through YouTube to find solutions to her problem. It was suggested to her to use toothpaste, which she did, and unfortunately, afterward, it looked like her skin had burned. Why did this happen in the first place? The ratio of dermatologists to patients in Nigeria stands at 1 to 1 million. And in a population where over 80% of young people have some sort of skin issue, it's impossible for these dermatologists to cater to their needs, most especially when the cost of seeing one is an average of 50,000 naira. The outcomes for Sambe will have been very different with Zibo Beauty. All Sambe needs to do is use our Zibo Scan, which is our AI dermatology recommender chatbot. Sambe takes a picture of her skin, she answers a few questions, and instantly she gets recommendations on products to use based on her skin type, her skin problem, and her budget. Then Sambe goes to our e-commerce store where she buys all the products she needs in just one place. Then we follow up to see how well Sambe is doing with her skin. The Nigerian skincare market is a $2.4 billion market, and it is growing at a rate 4 times the global market. Despite the macroeconomic woes in Nigeria presently, the average spend per customer on skincare is growing 22% year on year. In 2023, skincare brands made the most revenue in 6 years. We worked with some individuals to understand the market and validate market needs. 30 of them completed our teledermatology scans, of which 20 proceeded to actually buy products. Through our B2C model, we were able to generate 300,000 naira in revenue at an average gross margin of 15% today. Compared to our competitors, we give instant recommendation. Our customers get all the products they need in one place, and we follow up to see how well their skin is doing. My team and I all have a background in healthcare, and we've worked with leading companies in Africa and Middle East, where we've taken roles in operations, in strategy, in inventory management, partnerships, and many others. From our learnings through our validation process, here's what we want to achieve in 12 months. We want to have fulfilled 10,000 orders in half the time. We will do this through a B2B2C model, where we would launch our Beauty Partners program, an online community, onboard a technical co-founder, and launch a subscription service for customer retention. By April of next year, we want to have developed our AI chatbot, and by December in the same year, expand to 3 more cities. What are we asking for? We are asking for $25,000 to complete product development and activate our first 5,000 customers. With Zibo Beauty, Sambe doesn't have to go through the trial and error cycle before getting it right with her skin. Join us at Zibo as we provide fast, reliable, and affordable skincare for young Africans. Thank you for listening.
While the judges get ready for questions, let's give them one more round of applause. You have 7 minutes for questions. You don't have to use it all up, but you have time for questions.
Hi, I wanted to ask about the AI that you're using. So how are you building out your AI? What are you using to train your AI, and what's going to be unique? What's going to be your unique selling points in terms of the actual tech, in terms of the artificial intelligence, and the language models you're using?
Okay, so today we are still doing it very manually. So we have a skincare experts. So it's like the AI is like the human being on our team right now that does the recommendation for people. We have a form that people fill, upload a picture of them, and answer all of these few questions, right? So in terms of data collection, that's one aspect of getting data. But in terms of like the AI, how we are thinking about building it, so we've actually looked at a couple of APIs. There's one we found which is called Skin Eye, that can actually do skin analysis. So when customers take a picture of their face, and answer a few questions. It can do an analysis and say, this is the condition that they have. Then the other part of it is actually the recommendation, right? And that's where we actually need to get recommendation for those kind of conditions and the skincare brands that actually have that product in Nigeria today, and we can match it together and use that to give recommendation to our customers, right? And that's why we are looking at onboarding a technical co-founder that can build this out for us over the next 12 months.
My second question was around sort of safety and clinical governance, because you're essentially providing a service that could be deemed as a medical service. So how are you feeling about legal? How are you feeling about, is your skincare expert that's doing it manually dermatologist?
No, she's not.
So how are you feeling about legal? How are you managing sort of the clinical governance issues if somebody is misdiagnosed or something? How are you managing risk? Or how are you thinking about it, obviously?
Yeah.
You've not got enough customers to actually really, but how are you thinking about it?
So the way we're thinking about that is over the next 6 months as well, we are looking at bringing an expert that is actually like a dermatologist on board, right? Such that we are covered from that legal perspective. That's one. Two is also that currently on the form that people fill today, we have so we have like a privacy this thing that people actually assent to say these are the things that we are collecting and this is what we are actually prescribing. And in terms of like what we prescribe, we actually prescribe just OTC skincare products. We don't prescribe any skincare products that actually need actual prescription. So we are sure that we are covered on that particular ground. But over time, the whole legal aspect of it and governance aspect of it is something that we are looking at bringing an expert to help us on.
Okay, and then from your pilot, what's the average spend per customer?
20,000 naira. So that's about $15.
For the consultation? Or for the product?
For the product. For consultation today, we're not charging right now. It's totally free.
And then how do you sort of make money from the product?
So the product is just a markup, right? Because we have some sort of partnership with licensed distributors of skincare brands. We can get it at very good rate, and then we just mark it up 15% and then sell. But over time, we hope to be able to get to a point where we can actually get directly from the manufacturers, because counterfeit and fake is also one major issue in the market. And with that, we are able to actually increase our average margin on the product.
Okay, I have a few more questions, but I'd like to give, I know we only have 7 minutes, so
So I think we kind of talked to areas where I had concern. So I heard you talk about partners. So I do the scan, tell me X, Y, is wrong with me, and tell me I can go buy this or that. Now, that's a recommendation. I take a recommendation based on what you said. So imagine if as an end user, I go buy this product and my skin now turns green. It's something you don't have to have the answer now. But understand the fact that you're opening a market either based on you have the technology, you have the AI, but your recommendation is something you're not in control of. And it's a modern fight, or probably soon. So you need to kind of think about how you cross those bridges. Then you also talked about the AI part of it. I know that everybody's an AI craze now. Everybody's AI. But you need to be able to, I know you mentioned you're going to have a CTO also. It hopefully needs to be a CTO that has a medical background, because that's what makes it interesting. Because I think there's merit in what you guys are doing, because African skin is different from Western people, and they are probably more Western products compared to us, right? So your pitch would have been more interesting, or have gone one notch up if you delve down into the fact that this is recommendation based on African blah 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 blah, right? Takes it a bit more, there's more research. That's my, I don't know, I guess, comments on maybe.
All right, so I think, can I see the slide that has the market share? Let's use the mic. The people online can hear.
See it? Okay.
4 billion in Nigeria alone. First. So what are the top three players in that market?
So in terms of if it is e-commerce stores, right? The top players in Nigeria today, you have Buy Better, you have Tikapo. In terms of like startup, you have Beauty Hut, which is upcoming. But trade fair market is actually like where you find like most of the products or like most of the stores is coming out of.
So what percentage of the market do these guys control?
So we don't have that data, and we're able to find.
I think we have to have that so that we understand what percentage you're looking to have in that entire, market space. But I can see 2.4 billion, so it's not clear to me. So I think that would be helpful to have, right? So are you also looking at having your own product?
No.
Yeah, so someone is saying yes, someone is saying yes.
No.
No. Oh, sorry.
So there's this concept of the smile curve, right? And the whole concept is that you have the upstream, you have the downstream, and you have the midstream, which is where actual production happens. Today, there is a lot of products in the market, right? Products where they actually have a lot of money to invest in R&D, and the money you can actually get from the product sales is actually not a lot. So for us, there's a problem of counterfeit in the market, right? It's better for us to actually get the marketplace where people can actually get this authentic product to be sure that if I'm getting a product from Zibo, if I'm getting a Nivea product, or if I'm getting a Dr. Teal's product from Zibo, it actually works, right? And it is authentic. And that's where we're actually trying to play into the market today.
So just so I understand what you're saying, you do not want to make your own products because there are already available products in the market.
That works.
That works.
Yes.
That's
7 minutes off, or can I?
yes, we'll take one more question.
So I wanted to double down on sort of the way that money flows through your organization. So you get paid when you sell a product. Are you in charge of the delivery, or does the client go and pick it up themselves, the customer?
So the clients pay for the delivery and we just deliver it. So we work with like delivery partners.
So you have like a logistics.
Yes.
So you handle the logistics.
No. So we don't directly handle the logistics. Like we have a delivery partner that actually does the logistics. And the customer pay for the entire fee of the logistics.
Okay, so they come to your website, you do that for free, and then you make your markup on whatever products are recommended. And you're making a 15% margin now. Who pays you? They pay you and you pay the vendor.
Yes.
And how does that work? Do you pay the vendor immediately?
So we pay the vendor, like related customers pay the vendor.
In that case, do you think that 15% margin is sustainable? Because customers obviously can see how much your product costs on other websites. So how do you handle that? Do you know what I mean? Like if you recommend a product, like let's say you recommend, I don't know, let's call it Aboniki Balm, for instance, for my face, and you're charging that 15% markup. But I know that in MedPlus next to me, I know the price of Aboniki Balm. Why don't I just buy it from there after your free consultation?
Get it cheaper. So we get it cheaper because of our partnerships with wholesalers that have license to distribute authentic products. We get it at a price that they will not be able to get it in the market typically.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Put your hands together. All right. Up next, we have Team Jenna G.
Let's go on to start.
January 2023, a liter of fuel sold for 257 naira. This year, July, that same liter of fuel is going for 750 naira. That is a staggering 300% increase on fuel cost alone. Think of how that impacts small businesses and individuals amidst increasing inflation rates and other economic factors. At G-Energy, we help businesses and individuals save 65% of their fueling cost. So this is the amazing team working on this project. We have Esther, who has banking experience, Abba builds IoT systems, Abayomi does marketing. I'm a gas engineer with experience in gas compression. We have 12 years experience to solve this problem. Right, so what does it look like? The problem stands on two legs, right? There's the cost part, which we discussed earlier, but there's also the ESG part. So businesses are looking to incorporate sustainability in their businesses and cut their emissions. Therefore, they're looking for ways to track accurately and monitor their emissions, right? So CNG, compressed natural gas, comes to the rescue. It's cleaner and it's cheaper. But there's a problem, right? So there's an infrastructure problem because there are fuel stations, few conversion places, and people don't know where to trust because when a place comes up, everybody wants to come in and make money, right? There's also an infrastructure, there's also a cost factor, right? The finance to do the initial setup is a big deal, right? And so we're looking at pulling this entire ecosystem together where we'll bring the CNG stations, the conversion stations, the finance partners and the workshops into one place where customers can access all of these services, right? And that's what we're building with G-Energy. It's an 11 billion market in West Africa, and in Nigeria, we have over 8 billion. We're looking at Lagos for starters, and we're seeing that within the 4 million cars in Lagos, we'll be able to make some money from them where we help them solve this problem. Our traction so far, 198 prospects. We have done inspections, 38 vehicles belonging to Coca-Cola. We're hoping to convert very soon. These are some of the partnerships we'll be able to forge over these 4 months. Right? How do we make money? We make money by charging 2% on conversion. We charge 1% on loan processing, 1% monthly on the loan repayment period. And we're hoping to charge to get $5 for every carbon M sold, right? These are our competitors, but we think we stand out from them because we are building an ecosystem that absorbs all of their services into one place. And so we are rather enabling them than competing with them. Also, we have a long-term relationship with our customers because we help them track their carbon emissions. We are asking for $157,000, right, and mentorship. And this is how we hope to spend this money, build the app and the APIs, first 100 conversions, and the carbon tracker. We hope that if we come together to work, we'll be able to solve these problems for every one of us and help the Nigerian economy. Thank you.
Thanks. So I got interested where you mentioned 300% increase in cost from last year now. Are you in any way proposing to drop that down?
Yes. Yes, if we help businesses convert from PMS to compressed natural gas, we'll help them save 65% of that cost, which is our promise, right? So
businesses being, enterprise businesses as well as individuals who have
one fleet of vehicles.
There's been some news around safety on conversion. How you guys, how do you plan to, convince somebody like me, that my car is not going to blow up in the middle of the road?
So when we came into this market, we understood that there was an education gap, and we're comfortable to take on that. It will take a while, we understand. And so, but what we needed first was to first build the groundwork, right? So we spent the last 4 months building the networks that we need, the partnerships and all of that. We have already done an educational piece, an interview already to be out on Tuesday. We're trying to educate the market, right? But with respect to safety, CNG happens, natural gas generally happens to be safer than petrol and LPG and diesel put together.
Safety, conversion safety of, the mechanics of that, because I give you my car right now,
yeah,
you're going to do something to it.
Well,
how am I going to blow up?
Oh, okay, great. Right. So our partnerships, we've talked to people who have, So we've talked to people who have experience in the space, right? So Zeta Power has been part of the Leventis group since its inception within the Nigerian space, right? CNG Tech has been doing gas compressions for over 10 years in the country, right? So we stuck with people who are legitimate and are doing standard work. We hope to scale these numbers, but we are very careful on the kind of partnerships we bring on the table. And then the ISO standard, sorry.
So there's nobody in your team who is doing this. You're depending on these other partners to do it.
Yes. So what we're really doing, like I said earlier, is we're bringing that entire infrastructure together, right? So we're providing that platform where they can access all of the services of the workshop, the gas stations, and all of that.
One of the reasons why people come to us is because the partners we work with are accredited partners. So if you're concerned about the fact that I want to get professionals to do this for me, and I want to also get professional hands on my vehicles when I have to service, Ginergy is the place to come to.
Ask different group. I could find this out without you. Why do I need you? Because we are with you throughout that journey, right? So what we're doing with you as an individual, as a business is, by the time we help you save your cost, okay, so a scum of gas goes for about 200 naira, 230 naira, right? If you implement that retrofitting on your vehicle, it will cut your cost of fueling to say some 4,000 naira if you're fueling, your full tank rather, right? Now, if you do that, you are already emitting less, right? But we have a network of, we have a community rather, where we are helping people in the space as well. But for businesses, we are helping them track their carbon emissions and their footprint, or helping them manage their ESG targets as well. So this is a lifelong journey as long as you continue to use gas for your fuel. So we are together. If you do that elsewhere, you will not access that service, right? So you won't have that space. And then this network begins to grow by the time we begin to have other people who just come in, those who want to sell parts, those who want to sell other things in the same value chain. We become that go-to place. And because we are doing the groundwork to educate the market, we think that we are your trusted places to go to.
I wanted to ask about the reliability of CNG supply and stations in Nigeria today, because a major worry, particularly for large fleet operators, Coca-Cola, for instance, they have huge logistics operations. I mean, like, it's more likely that you find Coke in a village than you'd even find like essential drugs. So I think a major worry for them is the reliability of supply and how you assure them that the supply of CNG is just as reliable as the supply of PMS.
All right, I'll take that bit. So our target market for starters is the Lagos market, for instance, right? There's already enough pipeline, infrastructure, and conversion spots, right? What is left is the daughter stations that supply this, right? But it's a new market. And gradually, we're seeing the efforts of the government and the private sector to increase, availability of stations. So that is a reliability bit. But you'll see that these people are going to other places as well. And there is increasing infrastructure in other areas as well. Benin, for instance, had CNG for over 10 years, right? And increasingly Abuja and other northern areas are targets. But from a long-term perspective, you'll find that certain government projects, the decade of gas for Nigeria was the big thing. And then you find that certain gas projects, such as the AKK project, that hope to take gas lines from here to the north, will begin to expand that network. So it's a long game play. It may take a while to build the infrastructure, but we'll get there gradually.
So it sounds like the infrastructure that you're relying on infrastructure and initiatives that are going to be implemented by government.
That are currently being implemented, part of the infrastructure currently being implemented, but for our market in Lagos.
Government of Nigeria.
As of today,
as of today, okay.
Over 10 conversion stations in Lagos. One of them is adjacent Coca-Cola, and we've been there personally. There's one at Sembutero in Lekki, there's one at Ikeja, there's one in Apapa, less than 10 minutes drive from here. And this is the same thing you find in Abuja, the same thing you find in places like Port and Kaduna and other places. So,
in addition to that, the interesting part is you are not completely converting your vehicle, it's like hybrid. So when you run out of gas and you find yourself in a place there's no CNG station, you can easily have a switch to go back to your petrol so that you can fill up your tank and continue your journey.
Okay, makes sense. The second thing I wanted to ask is about sort of continuous transactions. So you've converted the car maybe you're doing the finance piece, but then what else are your sources of continuous money coming into the business? So it doesn't become, okay, I come to you to convert and then, there's no more continuous income, because that makes for a very, very lumpy business model.
Thank you. So, well, the continuous income.
For the continuous income, this is where the carbon credit bit comes in, right? So if we're able to help you track your carbon emissions and we'll get credits for that, we'll be able to be with you throughout that journey. And for every emission, every ton that we're able to get credit for, we're beginning to generate revenue for that ton. So it will be value for us and for you as well in the process.
Also know that this is something we're still figuring out. But one thing we're clear about is that this is a platform as a business. So because the network effect is there, we know we're always going to figure out more ways to make money along the line, recurring income. Yeah.
Talk about
yes.
I'm a BMW F10. Not very convinced on the So, what do I again? You don't have to. I'm just trying to make you think about potential people who will reach out to, so that you understand what their, aversions are. But something I didn't hear you talk about as well is how does this help people at the bottom of the pyramid? 80% of people are hinterlands and the rest. Can this probably even help them? They're not in your
Yes, it will, right? So think of the economics, right? See that if we're able to drop fuel cost by 65%, it will impact on cost of transportation, it will impact on cost of logistics, it will impact on cost of goods sold. That trickles down to the entire economy, right? So that will reduce significantly how much people are spending to move from one place to the other, and also how much, and the people in those areas a lot of times suffer the bulk of some of the wastes that come from all of this, right? So you're helping them from a health perspective, you're helping them from an economic standpoint.
We have one question. Okay, with the judges online, there's a judge online that has a question. Francis.
All right. So you sent a text. The question goes: your market size calculation seems off. Wouldn't it be right to assume all cars will be willing to convert, or that the infra can catch up fast enough? That said, is there a specific region you expect to focus on to begin with in your first year? Yes, there are regions we are focusing on, and what we did was we thought of the cars within every car within the West African market as a potential car, right? So that's a potential revenue, right? We will understand that not every car will convert. We've narrowed down to Nigeria, and in our TCOP analysis, right, we saw that the political aura or atmosphere seems to support this infrastructure change, right? So with the right amount of education, we'll find more people doing that. But again, we've zeroed down on Lagos again, right? And with Lagos, we have specific target areas. So we're beginning with areas where there is already existing infrastructure, right? And we're learning this market, really. We're learning this market for a period of time. So we've given ourselves 4 years to see what we can do within the Lagos landscape and also Nigeria, and see how much value we can learn. We're building a community assistance now. We have about 4 people in that community already who have converted their vehicles. We are reaching out to our partners to get more people in that. What we are doing with those people is that we are interacting with them. Those who have problems on their vehicles reach out to us, and we reach out to those conversion partners. Already we are doing that. So we are learning the market alongside the users of this product. And that way we believe that we'll be able to tailor this product and attain product market fit in no time.
I'll take one question. One each. You have a question.
Hi guys. Okay, quick question. My journey here was 10 kilometers. I know how much it was in petrol costs. How do I know how much it was in CNG costs potentially?
Okay, so if I know how many liters of fuel you used for that journey, it would have been easy for me. But this is the route, right? So if you convert your vehicle to then you get a 16-liter equivalent cylinder, 16 water capacity cylinder equivalent, and you fill that cylinder, it will take you up for about 240 kilometers before you need to refuel again. And that will cost you somewhere around 4,000, 5,000 naira.
I think the point I was trying to make to you is that if there was a simple way to show me on an app or even an Excel.
All right. So we actually do have a website, and we're also building our app already. on the website, there's a calculator to that. So this is what the app looks like.
Is it 1 to 4, 1 to 3, even if you don't have an app? Is it
ratio? Oh, okay. So one say 1 to 1.7, basically 1.7. Yes, 1 to 1.7.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the other team's pitching. It might be easier if you just stand on that side so both sets of judges can see you. And next up, we have Team Skill Buddy.
The judges can see you. Can you see your slide?
Morning, everyone. I'm Sophia Imifonier. Weirdly, I feel nervous, but I'm happy to present Skill Body to you. By 2030, every child in senior secondary school in Africa today will be in the global workforce. 5 years after that, every child in junior secondary school will follow suit. That's not so far from today. But the big question is, how equipped are they? And I ask this question because the contemporary education for K-12s in Africa lacks strong emphasis on future-ready skills, and the world is rapidly evolving. There's a shortage of skilled tutors who still focus on over-memorization and very little to no practical experience. We see skill training programs today, but they're usually unaffordable and non-personalized. And there's an inadequate data on K-12 learning pathways in Nigeria and Africa. And that's why we created the Skill Body Skill Lab, which is an adaptive learning management system. First, our users go through an assessment where we test their knowledge gaps, baseline skill levels, and their logical reasoning, and then we deliver our content, which is highly practical, monitored, and continuously adapted to improve their learning pathways. And finally, they go through a capstone project with real-time feedback. At SkillBuddy, we leverage data for personalized content delivery, improved learning experience, and assessments based on each student's progress and performance. And this will help schools to stay competitive by differentiating them from over 100,000 other schools in Nigeria and help parents to cultivate their children's social intelligence and problem-solving skills. Our world-class curriculum is created and curated by the SkillBuddy team, our vetted tutors, as well as other edtech platforms that are proficient at our skill areas, providing a content pool which our users use. And some of the courses that we currently take are emotional intelligence, digital and tech literacy, financial literacy, critical thinking, and effective communication. Compared to what our competitors are doing, we use an adaptive learning platform which has broad courses, is affordable, and is project-based. We make our revenue from subscriptions, annual subscriptions and programs, and we distribute this through our enterprise plan for schools and engagements with companies and the government. In the past 2 months, we've had 5 school partnership interests, 18 summer school signups, 5 tutors on our platforms, curriculum development of 40%, and a revenue of $400. The African EdTech K-12 market size is $32.5 billion worth, and it's growing rapidly, and we aim to capture 5% of that market. We're currently fundraising, and our goal is to reach at least 10,000 students by the 3rd year, giving us $1.5 million in revenue. In the next 6 months, we're developing our LMS, our content, endorsing our curricula, and signing up students to get us to at least 5,000 by 24 months. My team has a combined experience, 15 years of experience in child education, market creating innovation, as well as social impact and business development. And we invite you all to join us to empower African children across Africa to compete on the global stage. Thank you.
Over to you.
I just wanted to confirm the price. I didn't see, I thought I saw $150 per person per year.
Yes.
This sounds like it's for the bourgeoisie, not for comrades like us. That's ₦250,000 per year for the app, which is additional to the school fees. So, sorry, I'm just confirming, it's not a replacement for school. They pay that on top of their school fees.
So per student.
Per student.
Annual subscription, 150.
So 240 plus, so the parents are paying the school fees. They'll now pay an additional 240,000 that the school will charge them per year. Or is it out of the existing school fees?
Out of the existing school fees. So we partner with schools to distribute to students. Yeah.
Just to echo my colleague said, our product is available for anyone across Africa. We partner with schools, and through our enterprise plan, we're able to subsidize the fee for them because they give us a large pool of students. Also, we have that fee for all our courses, all our skill areas. And so it's actually a cheap option. For example, if you want to engage let's say enroll your child in a coding camp right now, you may spend up to 400,000 naira for just a short period. But with our adaptive learning platform, they're able to engage in any of our skill areas, and it's still at the same fee. And the best part of it is that the LMS is being designed such that their performance will be improved because it's testing them continuously. They're going through that same process which I explained earlier. And so the outcome is better.
Most of the data on Lagos, which is the richest state in Nigeria, shows that most Nigerians living here don't actually make up to 100K a month. So that means they make about ₦1 million in a year. And if the software that they're adding to their school fees, and like probably about 50–60% of that is spent on food. So if you're trying to target the mass market, which every tech product should be, then it's not going to reach venture capital scale, at least in Nigeria. And if it can't reach venture capital scale in probably one of the richer African countries, then it will be difficult. So I just wanted us to think about that pricing model a bit better. Otherwise, you will only be sort of targeting a very small number of people that can, I mean, I think people were protesting about university fees last year, and it was 50K a year. And they were protesting that it was too expensive, and people were crying outside the uni for 50K a year. You're now saying that that's not the school fees, though. That in addition to the school fees, you're now paying, and I think, the pricing model, I've been thinking about it and just trying to work out what percentage of that total addressable market you'll be able to get to. But that's just my thinking.
So it's something, the feedback we'll take with us, but just so you know, we also have programs as part of our distribution channel, like my colleague said. So through the programs, we're able to partner with organizations through CSR initiatives to give, a module of what we offer, via the platform, so that the kids from schools or strata of society that cannot afford that can be able to also get to participate. Currently, we have a summer school running, and 18 students are sponsored through partnerships.
Yes. Two questions. I heard you mention a capstone project. Who is doing the capstone project? The users. Break down your users for me again.
Children between the ages 12 and 17.
Okay. So we also, I'm assuming that these people who will be using your stuff also will probably have a laptop or a mobile phone or something. Yes. Did you guys maybe check or take a look at the access rate of people who have mobile phones or laptops to be able to enable, well, mobile phones and laptops are one thing, but also infrastructure. They would need to buy data and all that kind of stuff. How much data will it take them to finish a course or to finish a module or a project? I think you also need to factor that in because that also is some cost that is separate from your course, which you expect people to subscribe to. So the question now begs to answer, if you put all those costs together with the average person, would it be attractive enough for the average person to probably subscribe or buy into? That would probably help you with your number issue.
Hi, thanks. I know I just jumped in, so a couple quick questions because I was following online. I think piggybacking on what is said in terms of, I think it would be good to think through offline, online elements, right? As you think about the target audience, usually, especially if you're starting really early at 12. I don't know if 12 is too young, right? Like I get that we want to be able to ensure that they have the skills early, but I wonder if 12 is too young and maybe you want to focus on like the senior secondary level, right? Where potentially their parents allow them more access to devices and they're able to use devices by themselves. But especially if you're targeting children, I think you want to be able to have that offline, online elements as well. That was one thing. The second bit was in terms of how you design it. I think there should also be that element of design where because they are young, right? Yes, you want to give them world-class content, but you probably want to be able to ensure. I know you said it's personalized, but I think it needs to come out stronger in your presentation. That depending on where the kid is at, they don't have to. If it's coding, they don't have to go into the into deep into coding early on. It can be the basics at the early phase. But clear questions would be, what does path to markets look like, right? In terms of because education is really hard to sell. Even the existing companies who have raised millions of dollars, they struggle to even generate revenue, right? So what was your path to market in a way that would ensure that you're able to even stay profitable in some way? I already mentioned your pricing and how that's, already an issue. If you have to take that into consideration and reduce the pricing, then distribution is then the other thing. How do you ensure that you're able to distribute and run the product effectively from a unit economic standpoint and still scale effectively? That was number one. Number two is that I'm not sure if you mentioned it. Is there an element in here that because one of the biggest things that kids and our education system doesn't have today is almost helping kids and young people to figure out their career path, right? It's one thing to say you want to give people skills. It's another thing to be able to say based off of psychometry or based off of personality tests, we help these kids to be able to figure out even with technology what kind of career path should they take. How are you guys thinking about that? Thanks.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for the question. I'll take the first question. So our path to market, presently we are partnering with schools, just like you mentioned, and we are distributing to through schools. So for schools, we give them the advantage of selling it to their students in the sense that we give them some capabilities where they can manage and onboard students based on with our platform. So they can onboard students and yeah, they also get to earn money while onboarding those students. So that's really our path to market. Another way we are looking at it is that we are partnering with companies and organizations that want to reach out to those students but find needs at. So they come to us, we give them that wide range of students that are in our platform, and also we can distribute to them. Okay, so presently we have 5 partnership interests with schools. Yeah. Okay, they are interest in the sense that they buy into what we are doing, and we've talked to them and they said they'll reach out to the parents. So because the term was has ended and presently there's a break, so by next time we should get they should get fully onboarded. Yeah. So she will speak about the second question.
Career paths, helping them figure out where they should go before you even expose them to content.
Yeah, so I think it's a learning feedback, but how we're thinking about it is iterative. First, I think we need to recognize that data and information around K-12s in Africa, even at Nigeria to be specific, is not so much. And so we are taking this on with an iterative interest. We want to just learn as much as possible on the journey and see how we can tweak.
This side.
Hold on, guys. So I want to understand how you're thinking about your profit margin, right? So what percentage of your earnings goes to the tutors?
Okay, presently with our summer school, okay, presently with our summer school program, our tutors, we make sure that it's competitive.
Share with everybody. Tell us the location of the service. And you have to first crystallize what you really want to sell to one person. Trying to mimic existing platforms may not help. I think there's an opportunity to try and do things a little differently. And there's also nothing wrong in integrating some brick and mortar into your edtech place. In Nigeria, pure digital suffer. 33% inflation. So pure play digital businesses will have to tell lies on scale to make money. That's why you have to come with 10,000. With what you presented, you won't get 10,000. So I think you guys have an opportunity to go rethink the product. Try and sell something great to one person. Then try and sell it to a few more people. Then try and see if many people will want it. The way you presented this, apart from your excellent presentation skills, I think there's some work still in product development. Well done.
Thank you, sir. To share about what we're currently testing, which is one of our programs, our summer school program. We understand that the tech may not be easy to access by many individuals. And so we created the summer school program that children from this community can attend. And we got them, we engaged some of our partners who paid for them. And right now they're going through summer school, a summer camp. And now they're coding. They've learned Python programming and they're still learning. They're currently in class today. And that shows that, I'm just saying that to say that we understand the challenges and we are taking your feedback. And like you mentioned, we're learning, yes, and we are ready to work with you as you mentor us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that good presentation and engaging round of questions and answers. Next up, we have Team Sabisela.
Everyone. Okay. Hi, good afternoon or morning. My name is Angela and I'm from Team Sabisela. At Sabisela, we help businesses find more customers. How do we do this? A short story. So I have a friend, Ego, who is a food vendor and uses Instagram to run our business. And this means that our customers actually reach out to her on Instagram to order our food and our services as well. But for Ego to reach more customers, she needs to run ads. But in running ads, she doesn't have time because if you run ads well, you know that you have to create your ad campaigns. She doesn't have the technical skills like targeting the right audience, and she doesn't have the support staff to help her with it. So how then do we help Ego make the best outcomes from the money spent on ads? And meanwhile, Ego is representative of over 1 million businesses in Nigeria that use social media platforms to reach out to their customers and run ads on this platform as well. These businesses together spend over $254 million every year on ads in Nigeria. So the question remains, how then do we help them get the best outcomes from the money spent on ads? This is where Sabisela comes in. So Sabisela is a platform that optimizes sales for businesses. What we do is that businesses come to our platform, they upload their data, one of which is their social media URL, and our algorithm helps them generate market insights such as ideal customer and location. Also, our algorithm helps them create auto-generate campaigns and helps them auto-deploy these campaigns to several social media platforms. Thus, we help businesses save 42 minutes on every hour that could have been spent running ads individually on several platforms, and we are 3.3 times faster than running ads individually on every platform. Our target audience is e-commerce businesses, one-man agencies, and digital agencies. For digital agencies, we are able to help them cut down their head count from 3 to 1. Our business model, we charge 10% for every ad spend, and our subscription $25 for our premium users. Our go-to-market strategy is that for the first $1 million that we want to make in revenue, we're currently talking to 5 top digital agencies in Nigeria that are serving multinationals and that their ad spend is over $250,000 every year. And for our competition, we are better off than our competition because first, we are easy to set up, we save time, you can pay us in local currency, and we are able to reach multiple platforms at the same time. This is our traction. For businesses that have used us, cumulatively, we've helped them generate $8,500 in sales, and we have 60% retention rate. And one of our customers, which is Everything But Coffee, when she started using us, was making about 500,000 naira every month. But with our expertise and our help, she's been able to make over 2 million naira every month. Our next steps, in the next 3 months, once we have completed our beta to launch our full products in 6 months, we want to have about 250,000 businesses in our sales cycle for 1 year, and in 18 months to have made our $1 million in revenue. So our ask is $120,000 to complete our product development, business development, and operations. And this is the team. We have cumulatively 20 years of experience and we work across these industries. Thank you.
Really good pitch. I liked the way you articulated the problem. One of the numbers that you quoted was that the total spend in Nigeria now is $254 million on ads. So how does that relate to the market that you're targeting?
Yes, so okay, so that's
cumulative, according to Statista, the amount of ad spend on digital in Nigeria alone. So essentially, small businesses maybe around 50K ads monthly, 20K ads, regardless. Big businesses, of course, they do way higher than that, maybe an average of like $250,000 annually. So yeah.
Okay, so that tells me even if you're lucky enough to get 20% of the market, it's only a $40 million market, and that's the revenue that you'd make. And even if you get the whole market, then and you take all the money, then it's $200 million. Or am I missing something in that calculation?
Yeah, so we essentially going to be working with agencies. So we have support tools for agencies and businesses. So we are just helping them as well to automate these things to reach more platforms earlier. So
what I'm saying is, as a venture capitalist, I have to be able to see a route to $100 million in revenue.
Oh, okay. I see what you
If
mean.
your total market is $200 million, then there's no route to $100 million in revenue.
So
the total money spent on ads in the entire market, according to your pitch, is 200.
We didn't include this into our pitch, right? But we are just limiting this to Nigeria for now to see the response. Then we'll scale up to South Africa.
I know, but like Ghana, the market of Lagos is 3 times Ghana. So if you're in Nigeria and the market is that small, then you don't have a market in Chad or Mali or Togo. So it just struck me that actually this market is quite small. I mean, may be a great like small business, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of you running this business. I'm not sure that you'll be able to feed all of you. And I think from almost 10 years of venture capital, the biggest issue with businesses is not lack of product market fit. It's not founders fighting. It's not all the things that they say in the textbook. It's just that they start a business and then they have children and then they have to pay school fees. And they realize that following the dream of Ike and Herbert in Access Bank is better than the business that they started, because at least they have a constant income from that business, whereas it can't actually feed all of them. So that's the biggest like issue with startups in Nigeria. The income just doesn't, it's not, it might be your dream and passion and you've thought about it, but it can't pay you. And I feel like the numbers that I'm seeing there don't really tally with a business or venture capital scale right from the beginning. Because even if you're taking 50% of the market, I'm not seeing enough ad spends to actually justify it. And when I think about what Facebook, the attitude that Facebook, Twitter, all of these advertisers have to us, they don't really take it seriously because they don't think it's a big spend particularly. So when you see the body language of these like large tech companies, I don't think like we're their biggest concerns around the world either. They feel like our ad spend is quite small. Some of them find it difficult to monetize. So just something to think about how you might be able to tweak the products to maybe access a much larger market. And that African market, I'm telling you, Nigeria is big. By the time you start going to all these surrounding countries, you'll see the real Africa. Don't try it. Like, it's really, really, like Nigeria is a really, really big market. And if the market in Nigeria is so small, then this Pan-African scale, it might be a bit difficult. So just something to think about. And it's something that immediately struck me in your pitch.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation. Big ups to you guys. Excellent design, and excellent articulation. I was a VC up until 1 year ago, so maybe I'm less as adamant on the $100 million as Dr. Ola might be. I actually think there's something here. Maybe not venture scale yet, because you're still figuring out what product market fit would look like. And I think when you figure out your model, you can then potentially build a path towards venture scale. However, I think there's something there. I think that in terms of the beats or around helping entrepreneurs who today are not digital, or who are digital but are not optimizing their digital and optimizing their revenue. And you gave a great example, take helping a business go from 500K to 2 million. It's something significant. However, I think that the scope that you're looking at it from, maybe you want to expand it a little bit. It's good to, identify some very clear things and test with those. But I think that there's some opportunities, and I'll talk through a couple of them. First is, I think that
you more or less, not for the case of I, but I think there might actually be something there in terms of having a service, the service that essentially helps businesses to audit, maybe first of all, to prescribe based off of their existing assets. And that is, if you can make that AI driven and sell it as being AI driven, I think there's an opportunity there. I think there's an opportunity to create a simple SaaS solution around that that isn't tied to anything directly to you. What that also allows you to do is allows you to not limit your market and your reach, right? If you find really simple and interesting ways to be able to get into large business communities, and you create a simple SaaS tool that they can use to take two things. It's either they use it to essentially create new potential content that they can use, give to their users, or they use it to assess content that they are creating or their team is creating to be able to improve it from an optimization standpoint. I think if you really create a model there, where you refine the model to be able to learn how to be able to target specific audiences in certain ways in digital, I think there's an opportunity there. And I think that can be an additional revenue source you're not looking at today. Frankly, I think a 10% commission on ads is probably a little bit too much. I think if you get into the the business of it, you realize that if I'm spending $100,000 on ads, I'm not going to pay $10,000 to actually run the ad. So your business model from the commission standpoint, you might need to change that a little bit. However, I think there's potentially something there. I think that from a business or just from a GTM standpoint, from a go-to-market standpoint, I hear that you want to talk to the big agencies. I imagine you're facing bureaucracy if you're talking to them. I think you probably find better opportunities talking to aggregators like Bumper, aggregators that help businesses already, the trade depots, the Omni retails, the folks who are already serving thousands of small businesses who have an incentive for those businesses to grow. Because if those businesses grow, their transaction volumes grow, their transaction revenues grow, and they're probably people you can reach much faster. And if you find a way to be able to integrate this as an added value from an API standpoint into their existing products, it gives you access to scale, reduces your own costs, and potentially increases profitability for you. So that was the second thing I think that you need to be able to look at it. The third thing was going to be that I think your numbers are a bit too aggressive. I know, Yomiya told the last team. I think that, frankly, I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone who has made $1 million in a month, in 18 months in recent times, right? And I don't think you need to put that pressure on yourself, right? I think what you want to really find out is you want to find out a model that works and that is efficient, right? So I don't think you need to put so much pressure on yourself in a short period of time in terms of revenue targets. I think that if you create a clear path and you find ways to be able to scale the things that work. So you found a way to find these businesses and help them to improve their revenue. Sell that, like Yomi said the last time, find one person, do something great for them, talk about it, let other people hear it. I think last point would be there's an opportunity for service revenue as well, right? There are businesses which you probably can't scale yourself, and maybe the AI elements can't solve. But there's a potential that there are businesses who want to be able to find experts to help them do what you want to be able to do. And you can potentially create an agency model. When I saw your description on the doc, I actually thought you had an element in there. Maybe you want to use a partnership for that, so it's not too much from an operational standpoint on you. But I think there's some service revenue there as well, where you have these businesses who don't have the expertise to be able to create content or to refine content, because AI is not going to be perfect. Your model isn't going to be perfect, but I think there's an opportunity there. And I think there's an opportunity to do this, not just within the country, but outside, especially in markets that actually have revenue. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just a comment. I don't have a question because I think there are lots of things that have been said here. I like what you guys have. It's interesting. I identify with the fact that there are quite a number of small businesses who basically want to focus on, like your friend even just cooking, and somebody should do the shouting. So if you're able to optimize what you have, there are quite a number of small. In fact, on my way coming here, I wanted to fix something tiny for my car, and I was just weeks ago banging my head, who's going to give me this stuff, right? If there are ways to be able to bridge that gap, I think there are quite a number of people who have stores that are full of goods, and they just want somebody to help them shout out the word, and they're able to reach you either from a price point of view or your close to my house or something, and that's big for you guys.
So again, yeah, I always like to come from the markets, point of view. So you want to talk about your competition? Fantastic. So, what's the market share of your competitors?
So this space is a bit new, maybe about so Aleph used to be in the country. They were serving through Facebook, but they left earlier in the year, right? Lupify is still figuring it out. We're figuring it out as well. Sean, Smartly, Adex are companies outside the country. Smartly is doing a big run. Honestly, I don't have like specific in terms of the numbers as to what they are controlling, but it's a space that everybody's still learning.
I think it always helps to know what market share you want to capture. That's the way I think about it. So that you, in a sense, almost understand if the $100 million is something that you can achieve.
No, but I think Wilson wants me to say something.
No, I
don't always have to. I know. No. This is a very interesting space. Very interesting, and I know you well, so you're a very smart guy. Look like everything to me. First of all, if I had $100 million to spend, I'd pay you 10%. I would. The question was, why would I come to you? If I have $100 million to spend an ad in a year, my goodness, I'll go to Meta. You understand? So you have to really decide, where. And if I then had only $1 million to spend, I won't pay you 10%. So I was thinking about it. I've done ads. I've done big ads. I've done small ads. The bigger the spend, the more I pay. The smaller the spend, I don't want to pay. So you have to decide where you want to sit. That's number one. Number two is you want to help businesses get customers. But I was listening to your pitch, and I just felt sorry for you because I don't know how you will get customers. You understand? It's a very, we can't stress this enough. You guys put yourselves under pressure to grow too quickly, so you lie. And the reason why venture capitalism in Nigeria isn't doing well is that there are too many lies. The people who have made money, even those who stole it, still have brains. So when you say that you're going to do something very quickly, the first thing they hold on to is the inconsistency to the logic, and then they don't hear anything else. I would rather a business that did something well, and didn't even pretend that it could grow too quickly, and then surprised everybody with growth. And a business that said, I will boil the Atlantic Ocean, and doesn't even have a bucket that it can heat up. You understand? So you're in a very interesting space. It's a very interesting opportunity. We have startups that have problems that you guys perhaps can solve. We're always going to have issues as to how much we want to pay for them. But the question is, what can we do? What can Sabi Seller do well, so well, right? And then how can it replicate that thing? Don't try and do everything for everybody. I'll tell you, in the ad space, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities that tech can help you fix. I'll give you a very good example. I can't imagine a platform that would allow startup businesses pay for ad spaces on large platforms and almost pay by the people who watch it. I can't imagine. I would certainly buy it. Do you get my point? Today is the reverse that happens. When you want to sell me ad space today, you ask me to pay based on the number of people you believe will see it. So but I can't afford it. If I want to advertise on 3rd Mainland today on the billboard, the guy's going to say to me, pay 15 million a month. And I'm going to tell him why. He will say, because 20,000 people pass here every day. And I'm thinking, 50 million. Do you get my point? And meanwhile, after a while, he has no customer. And he just keeps repeating or just tells us it's 20 minutes to go to Oroshoki, which is stupid. So there's quite some opportunity in the ad space. By the way, I have a contact lenses business today I'd like to do ads for, but I'd like to do it myself. Are you telling me that I can't go online onto a platform and drag images of different things and not pay for it until you look at it and the person gets my point is, just do one thing well. You understand? There's opportunity in your space. You're a smart team. You're a smart guy, Wilson. But you're trying to do too much and you're almost lying. So don't lie.
Thank you.
What's to live by? Don't lie. All right. Next up we have Ule.
Move back so the judges can see it. Okay. No, there's no one online. Move back so you're not backing the judges. All right.
Imagine being dragged out of your house suddenly because your landlord decided to increase his rent by 100%. This was my story 2 years back. My name is Abdioken Aziz, and with me are my co-founders, Chisom Okore, as well as Akiwumi Omade. According to reports by Property Pro, Lagos rent has soared by 91% in the last 5 years. Your great town struggle with high costs, no access to credits, rent spikes, as well as tight budgets. Employers, on the other hand, they want happy and productive employees, but constant increments in rent makes this hard for them. This is why myself and my co-founder decided to go into the market to validate this problem. We reached out to several organizations as well as several people who we then get responses from, who then validated this problem, which is why we came up with the solution, Ule Homes. We are the flexible rent payment solution that helps employers provide rental perks for their employees, as well as help build their credit score. This is a typical customer persona. You have Chika, who is a 29-year-old, who is residing in Lagos. He's a digital marketing manager at a tech startup. He has about 350,000 monthly, but yet, surprisingly, he still struggles to pay his rent comfortably. Looking at the company we partner with, we partner with companies who boast of the staff strength within 2 to 1,000 employees. This is our customer journey. A typical customer comes on our platform, he registers, we do our KYC and verify these customers. We then, once they qualify, we then disburse this loan to their landlord within 24 to 36 hours. They in turn then pay us back on a monthly basis. In my ask us how we make money. We currently charge about 2.9% on a monthly basis, and we charge about 2.5% one-off facilitation fee, which is capped at 30,000 naira. The competitors, this is not a new solution in the ecosystem, and we understand that there are several people that have gone ahead to do these things. But then, how do we stand out against them? We have ensured that our KYC verification takes between 24 to 36 hours, so we disburse loan as soon as possible. We have no restrictions on the kind of houses we finance. We have also embedded a savings model on our platform. How big is this market? What is the opportunity here? Currently in Lagos, we have about 8 million professionals, and currently we generate about an average revenue of 240,000 naira per customers, which then sums this market to about 1.9 trillion across Lagos and growing. What have we achieved in the last 4 months? We have partnered with about 6 property companies. We have 2 credit financial partners. We have partnered with 13 organizations, and currently we disbursed around 5.6 million in loans. We have 700 sign-ups, and we'll be disbursing about 15.6 million in the next few months. Who are the people? Who are the pilots behind this thing? We have myself, Aziz Abdiekin, Omolade Akurumi, as well as Chisom Okere. Combined, we have a 12-year experience, which span across fintech, working in business dev, as well as real estate. We are currently seeking funding of 200,000 naira, which will be spread across our teams, the operations, as well as building our tech infrastructure. What is success to us in the next 24 months? We are looking at setting up an app to provide a seamless experience for our users, as well as integrating AI to help us automate our processes. We are looking to onboard about 50,000 landlords and agents on our platform. We are going to be partnering with about 300 organizations and companies. And in the next 24 months, we are looking to have disbursed 500 million naira in loans to our users. I'm inviting you to join us in this. I'm inviting you to join us on this opportunity as we forge our path towards exit. Thank you very much.
We should start this, man. You guys should start.
I love the confidence with the presentation. I've been seeing this business model since 2014. I think the first time I saw this business model was from Inyi. This rent financing thing, he was doing it when he was around, how was he, like even 20 years old at that time? Maybe he was 19 or 20, I can't remember. He quickly ran away from it and went to Adela. Since then, I've seen about 15 iterations of the same business model. So yeah, I'm telling my age here. So I was listening to it, I'm just like, this one again, very good. So I think, I think one of the things that I really, really liked is the traction. You're already making progress with the business. You're already getting partnerships, and I like that. But one thing is, the question that really came to my mind with every sort of financing business is actually selling money is easy. It's collecting it that is hard. So what are you doing in terms of making sure that you have the right risk mitigation tools in place to make sure you can actually get that rent? And the second thing is, one thing that always runs through my mind when I'm looking at financing businesses is what I call the Tony Elumelu test. And it's not a foolproof test, but it helps me think through fintech businesses. And the question I ask is, why isn't Tony Elumelu doing this business with UBA? Is it because he hasn't thought of it? Is it because he hasn't got the team to execute? Is it because he's too busy with oil and gas? Is it because he doesn't think the opportunity is big enough and you've seen something that he hasn't seen? Is it that he doesn't have the technology? But this is a massive opportunity. Obviously, there's a whole graveyard of tech startups that have tried this and failed. So what makes yours different? What is the sort of secret sauce that differentiates you from the other people that are in this space? Those are my only two questions.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the first question, and that's around how we mitigate defaults. For the first thing that we do is to ensure that we have very tight KYC. So we ensure that we get details of where you're working. We finance people that are working professionals and have been earning for at least 6 months. And also we confirm where your house is, that your rent is where it is, and your landlord is who you say he is. So that's one of the measures that we take to mitigate defaults.
Just to add to it, during our KYC process, we ensure that your monthly repayments does not exceed 30% of your monthly salary. So we've had people whose monthly repayments will be around 70%. We dare to reject those people because we feel that it may be very strenuous for them to pay us back. So that's one of the measures we put in place in our KYC to ensure that we don't have customers that default. We also partner with organizations and their HR so they're informed, and we do a sort of direct debit on their accounts. So that's sounds good.
So you direct access for everybody?
Yes, direct access.
Yeah, as regards to the second question, right? Why Tony Elumelu is not doing this? So first of all, I'd like to also UBA they give out loans, but then it's very hard for professionals like us. We sit down here, we do not have a collateral to collect most of these loans. So which is why the fintech has decided to say, okay, how do we then make this easier for people like us to say, okay, how are we able to easily access this kind of credits? Which is why people like fintechs like MoneyPoint, Williams, we decide say, okay, how do we then provide this kind of credits to these people? So yeah. traditional banks can provide loans to people at this interest rates that we're giving people. Yeah, thank you very much.
There's one of the slides that you shared, and it basically showed your traction. Could you go back to the slide? The question that came to me is, what's your average user, the average customer, how much do they look out for? What if, for example, I came to you, would you tell me you can't give me a loan because I'm looking for 10 million for rent or something?
Yeah, thank you very much. Firstly, currently we do not, the maximum loan you can access from us is on 5 million. So the maximum loan one can access for us is on 5 million. The kind of demography we're trying to capture. So it's between 1 million to 5 million. But I think
the average loan size is about 700,000. And so we check your salary and then the rent you are going to be paying. So that's one way to make it tight for our customers to pay us back.
What are the challenges you see in this market or in this gig you're going into? Like, have you really thought about it?
Yeah, so one of the challenges will be what the Lagos state government is doing, right? They're trying to democratize the whole market or disrupt it to allow users to be able to pay monthly. But where the opportunity is there for us now is basically they're charging a 5% transaction fee. And then if you are saying you want to disrupt this market, but then you're still charging a 5% transaction fee, it is not going to work. Because it's just basically you're acting as a lender, or because you are getting the money from it, you're making the cost of paying this rent much higher. But then we were providing that at 2.9%, which is relatively lower. But this is one challenge is we believe that mega policies 2.9 monthly. Yeah. So one of the challenges is basically government interference or policies. Yeah.
Great presentation. Great work, guys. I think the comment Dr. Ola made me also think about. So another business model that is almost seem to always come is one of there's some ideas that people always come when entrepreneurs think about new solutions. There's some that always come, and this is one of them. Another one that is common is the thing about connecting artisans to people via mobile apps. A million people have tried that thing in the past decade. Very few people have tried to do it. And I think it's perhaps maybe there's also the thing where, and it's one of the challenges in our ecosystem where I don't know, in terms of you trying to start this business, how many of the people who have failed at it in the past couple of years have you spoken to? I know a company who's raised millions of dollars in recent times, who's in the business, who's actually going to winding down right now, and a couple of them in the space are winding down. And I think that is that thing around, before we even try to solve the problem, can we try to understand the problem and try to figure out what the first principles issues are? The reality is that Nigerians, I feel like this is one of the problems where it's almost as though you're solving the problem for someone who wants the problem and is the very source of the problem in itself. Because someone who doesn't plan to pay their rent, to save for their rent, and not giving the person free money, it's almost like one of, in terms of like financing assets, because it's unlike, an asset that you're financing, it's almost as though you're financing this person's aspiration. Because frankly, if the person did not plan to save for their rent, maybe they should live under the bridge. And I think that may be a little bit harsh, right? But it's reality because of the tenancy laws as well, right? It means that even when you get to the point of recovery or there's a bad debt situation, there's an issue, right? I've found that solutions that have, maybe not even thrived yet, but that have tried to still be sustainable, don't come from a financing standpoint, but come from a standpoint of helping people to be more responsible towards paying their rent and towards getting the resources they need to be able to pay their rent, right? Because the flip side to this, and if we come back to your solution, and it's a problem that, especially in the market today, even the guys who have incredible access to capital that they face, is there's a cap you reach to which financiers would not be able to give you more financing because it's a large ticket asset that you're trying to finance that has a long repayment period. So there's just so many complexities with it.
So I think that maybe you want to rethink it. I think there's an opportunity there, right? But the approach might need to be changed a little bit.
So can I give for sure? So first of all, where is it that I've stepped on that bridge? I might have stepped on that bridge then. But yeah, I had other options. As regards the model, right? What we try to do to also like make people see the incentives in incentive and also trying to access this financing. We provide that 2.9 interest rate, but the catch there is that we also they pay also 50% of this their rights, and then they also get a 1% monthly interest rate. So there's like if you're going to come to us, you have it's like you're saving and then you're getting interest at the end of the thing. So you get I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's say your rent is $1 million. You pay 50%, which is like 500K, and then at the end of the loan period, you get 500K with a 12% interest rate. So this is like you are able to use that money to also like either finance your next rent or just take your interest back at the end of the loan period. So this is a way to also like incentivize people to also like say, you know what, this is the model that works. This is how you can. Inflation is eating everyone up. Like you need money for to do every other things that you need to do. And then why do you have to pay your rent in a lump sum if you have this kind of opportunities there for you? So I feel like that explains what you're trying to see.
You didn't mention that earlier, like
yeah, so we didn't really mention it in our pitch, right? So we believe that if the question comes up, we're able to like give this kind of answer.
All part of the business model.
Yeah, actually, sure.
Focus on the exit.
The exit is important for Magic Fund.
Do we have questions on this side?
I have a comment. Okay. See, let me tell you. First of all, great energy, great energy. I don't think you've stepped on that bridge. The takeaways I want you to, the takeaways you should keep in hand. I know split. The business doctor was talking about was split.
People split.
Okay.
Four splits.
Really?
That guy was
Fiber. Correct. He was involved in fiber. Guy called Tayo in split. Or Tola. Okay, exactly. Okay. And Francis is right. You see, you can try and push this table on this edge, or stand on the side and try and push it. You get it's a fundamentally difficult space to try to innovate in. But there are opportunities there. Let me give you a good example, right? I was watching TV yesterday, and someone went to launch some LSDPC houses. Yeah. If your model was to partner with state governments to help them do something like you're trying to do with their infrastructure, they're kind of landlords. It's a separate matter. Okay? Frankly, with an app, with technology tied to the BVN of the person of the employer of the state, boom, scale it quickly. Because you see, you have one landlord with a certain mindset. You guys are trying to achieve something with a few thousand people who think differently, who raise money differently, who build houses differently. It's a very complicated problem. Okay? If you want to stay in the space. But I'm listening to very intelligent people. And I'm asking myself, of all the issues in housing that you can fix, you really have to ask yourself, which one can you be good at fixing? You can't be good at this. I have to be honest with you, brutally honest. But there's also nothing wrong with starting from it. As long as you guys are cerebrally light enough to pivot when the wind changes. Because the people who try to do it before you are not stupid either. Governor Fashola passed a law that rent had to be 1 year. It's not, it's a law. It's a law in the land. And so that, it's not being followed. It's a very difficult space. So my comment to you, I like the energy. You guys are, I like the chemistry. It's a great space. Housing is a fundamental problem. What I'm going to say is stay light enough. Don't lie. Don't overpromise. Stay light enough to keep iterating and asking yourself, what is the fundamental problem here, which is what it's asking you, and what can we do? Well, you can never provide financing competitively. You are not a source of finance. As a bank, You're gonna ask me for the money and then give it to somebody else and then say that it's not gonna happen. You understand? You're not a landlord either. You don't have money for yourselves. Surplus up to build. You get the point? What can you do well? Oh, you could be a damn good broker between one landlord and his constituents, which is his employees, LSDPC, for example, and do it 20 times faster and better, and your app can connect to their spend, to their salaries, and all of a sudden, right, you are the cowrie card for LSDPC. After that, you are in Abuja, before you know what's happening, you are nationwide. That, I will say, come and take money for. Do you get my point? So all I'm saying is, everybody in the room, everybody presenting, when you come up with a business idea, you gotta ask yourself, can I be the best at this? If you ask yourself, can you be the best at this? Then you know which of the things possible here that you want to be the best at. So give that a thought. But there's nothing wrong with continuing to pitch and iterate and get smart people to give you ideas. But very quickly, you must start to sell something great to one person. Okay? So well done.
Thank you, Team Ole. Just a quick announcement. We have tea and coffee at the back of the room. And we can get that after the next pitch, so we can all go get it while the judges deliberate. So we have the last pitch for the day. Please put your hands together for Team. What I like about this team is they're never in class. Every time I look for them, they're gallivanting somewhere. I worked on that joke for a while. Sorry, why is Genevieve poster here? I didn't paying somebody. I didn't follow somebody. Huh? I thought it was NUTM. I just looked properly. Well, that's good product placement. Exactly. All right. Round of applause for them one more time, please.
I don't think I need this actually. Yeah. Okay, online. Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmed. I am co-founder and CEO of Galivanta. What we are doing is we're building an ecosystem for tourism in Africa. And the first question you want to ask is, why are we doing this, right? We realize that young Africans are very much interested in going on tours, right? But there's a lot of barriers that stand in their way. They either say, oh, trips are too expensive. I don't want to go alone. It's not safe. I don't have enough information about these destinations. And this is not us talking. This is a result of surveys that we've done with young people to understand why they don't go on tours. And our solution pretty much is a platform that allows young people to go on group trips, to join group trips to destinations across Africa, and also find anything that they need if they decide that they want to organize the tour by themselves. So think about things like buses, guides, consultants, people that can run errands for them in the host country. How does it work? Pretty much, we do the sourcing for these vendors. We carry out KYC on them to ensure that they are verifiable and trusted individuals. And we onboard them on our platform, ensuring that they adhere to our clear and high trip standards. How do we make money? 15% commission from our partner tours and services. Also, we charge a 30% markup on Galivanta Originals. These are our premium tours that we facilitate by ourselves. And the next question you'll be wondering is, how big is this opportunity? Africa has a very large population of young people. 180 million of these people, that's about 45% of them, who are employed and living in urban areas, is the market that we want to focus on. And of these, our aim for the next 5 years is to see if we can capture just 2 million of these people, which is around 1% of them, and get them to spend about $100 in a year on tourism. And this will give us a size of market of around $200 million that we can achieve. So far, what have we been up to? We have facilitated 5 tours. This means that we pretty much became a tour business to actually understand what the model is like for a tour business. We've done tours to areas around Lagos and Ogun State as well. And we've generated from this about a revenue of over ₦1 million. And we've grown a travel community of young people who want to travel to these areas, over 100 people. We've also partnered with Nigerian Association of Tour Operators. And this has allowed us to get access to over 200 of their members, of which we've onboarded 20. These people have agreed to allow us list their tours and sell their tours and give us a particular commission. We've also built our platform, so Galivanta.Africa is live. You can check on our website right now if you have some time. How are we going to go to market? We want to do partnerships with events, work with travel influencers, do digital marketing and also leverage existing communities of young people. We have competition who are local and as well as international. However, our leg up on them is that we are aggregator. So we're not running just our own tours, we are selling tours for different people, which means we are doing better on aggregation and availability. And also we are focused on internet, like we're focused on locals, not on internationals, people coming from diaspora. By December, end of this year, we want to have at least 100 marketplace vendors live on our marketplace. We want to also have 200 service providers, people that do things like guides and all of that on the platform. And we're also looking at building top planning tools, things like insurance integration and also group savings for young people. And what we're looking for right now is some funding to support our marketing, product development, and expansion. Our team is very much suited for this problem. Personally, I used to be, I organize a lot of talks with my friends. I tend to be the guy who helps put together these things. I used to work at Hotels Energy, which is one of the leading booking platforms in Nigeria a couple of years ago. My team are very technical, so we have guys who are the front end, back end, so we build our platform ourselves. And we also have operations people. And so that's what we are, that's what Galivanta is. And I am welcoming your questions and your investment as well. Thank you.
You guys are a marketplace.
For now.
For now.
Yes, so we are trying to build out an entire ecosystem of services that help to solve the problem of tourism, specifically for young people. But we started with the marketplace model to allow us to start selling to us, start making revenue.
So how many people are you keeping out of business by coming on the scene? Because I have quite a number of friends who actually do something similar.
Yeah, so we are not planning to kick people out.
Bring them in.
Yes, correct. So because in Nigeria right now, if I were to ask you, where is one place you can find maybe different tour operators who are doing different tours at a particular schedule, you probably don't have an answer to that. That's because it probably doesn't exist, right? Or it doesn't exist. I haven't found it yet. And that means that if you want to go on a tour, you have to go to one vendor that you know and go and check and see if they have a tour at the time you want to go for. Everybody has their Instagram pages, different places. Everybody has their website. What we want to do is build a platform and then bring everybody on board. That's the benefit we're selling.
You know, let me tell you what I think. See, I do a lot of holidays and tours, and I'm not sure that you have articulated the problem. I'm not sure that you have thought hard enough about the problem of differences. The issue with tours is not guides, actually.
Yeah, but we're not a guides platform. So guides is just one of the services that we're offering.
It's not the bosses either. It's not the things that your platform is selling. The issue with tours is information. Let me give you a good example. Have you been to Enrichesha?
Yes.
What year was it created?
I'm not sure.
That's the point. The point is that if I wanted to go to the Vatican and I picked up my phone, in 30 seconds, I will be seduced to go. Whether or not I can find somebody who can take me through it is my secondary. I would have first convinced my wife, now we're going to the Vatican. Why? My God, there's 5 popes staying there. She said, I don't like dead bodies. I like them. We're arguing, we're going. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
The easy product is what you have done. The difficult product, somebody is still waiting to do it. Do one thing you can do well. I've not asked you about Victoria Falls, though. I started from Enrichesha in Osun State. You can't answer the first question. It's the point I'm making. You see, you are a young person. The generations get younger and more curious and more inquisitive and more difficult. And the product that you want to sell must fix that. Then they want convenience. Because guess what? They're going to criticize your platform. What do you want them to criticize you for? The guide or the information that will always be correct? It is in Osun State. It was founded by the Ogun gods, and it was created by the angel Gabriel. Facts. You get my point? By the way, you have the most pictures of Enrichesha because the people in Osun State took it through an app that you created, and they get paid a token for every visitor that came in here. I thought you wanted to do an ecosystem. My point is, let's fix the real issues. I'm not convinced that the things that you've spoken about on Galivanta are the reasons people don't go on vacation, apart from money. The other thing that you can do is just make it free, then we'll all go. You get my point?
Yes, sir.
I'm still asking myself, listening to your presentation, and what problem are you really trying to fix? I'm not sure that you've answered that question.
Okay, sir.
So give it some thought. By the way, listen, there's nothing wrong with an iterative process to get to where you're going. I'm not asking you to stop, but I'm asking you to keep pushing back even on yourself as to the problem you think that you're solving and the solution that you're trying to use to solve it. You understand? There are many guide Galivantas. There are many. The question is, what is going to make yours I was saying to a few friends yesterday, we had travel agents. You want to travel, you call it travel agents. Until then, Wakana and came up. And now those are the travel agents. But before they came up, there was real travel agents. There was a travel agent, you see it. Your Melbourne travel agent. You will go and tell them you want to travel. It will take them a day to tell you how many options you had. And even that, it wasn't perfect until the Wakana. And now those Wakana guys, that platform looks like it's retarded. You get my point. What are you trying to fix? Okay, so give it some thought. You're not in a bad space, but you people need to push back against each other, not follow each other. You understand? There's got to be a competitive thing going on, not that everybody's like with everybody and no, that's not the way it works. Okay.
All right. So get a chance to respond.
Sure.
Okay, so I think the information problem is actually something that we highlighted. If you see here, it's one of the things that we're looking to build, but we're not starting there. It's on our roadmap as well. So for now, the community and the marketplace is where we are. And information is actually supposed to be the next thing that we're supposed to try to tackle. But there is a big problem starting from even destination marketing for Nigeria as well. We have our first minister of tourism, like I think in the last 10 years, that's just coming in this administration. We've tried to start getting engaged with like the industry, which is the Nigerian Service Operator we talked about. She was also there we attended the conference earlier this year as well. So we're getting involved in some of these discussions, but we feel like we start with low-hanging fruits and then we progress towards the bigger issues.
If you think so, I was in Badagry a few weeks ago. I saw Americans there.
Correct. I had a tour as well.
I don't need the Minister of Information to help me. But guess what? I was shocked at what I saw, and I was shocked there was no information on it online. Get the point?
Right.
What is Ghana selling with this?
Your return.
Yeah, it's information first. And I'm saying you can even weaponize it. You can involve the people in Badagry in a way and manner that they are in that ecosystem to sell Badagry, right? And all that shows up on your platform in a way that you guys have curated. And you are just the best at that. You are the best at opening up an area, leveraging the local community, leveraging technology, and getting people to present their food, their location, their sunset in the best possible way. I know you've never been there. That's the power of tech. You get my point? That's not what you're selling. By the way, I've answered your community. I've spoken about information. The best now is a payment gateway to collect your money. Do you get my point? Okay, you haven't come with anything sexy. It's what I'm saying. Do you get my point? There are apps that are photo editors. I'm from Remo. I should be reading about your app thinking, shit, we better go take a photo from a hill in Nigeria and make $2 from this guy when somebody comes there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you are trying to sell. Do you understand? Yeah. I didn't ask you to make the photo editor. You didn't make Ogere. You didn't make my phone. All you did was you solved the problem. You brought Ogere to the world. Is that not what you're trying to sell?
Thank you. And I think, so to Yumi's point, it's almost the thing about, it's very easy to go with
I think we do this thing where we go with the popular things, like the popular models, especially popular models that work in certain places, right? Like it makes sense to have a marketplace. It makes sense to have tour guides in somewhere like London, in somewhere like, so anywhere in Europe, because the places are already well known. Off the top of your head, I'm sure you can count at least 10 places, 10 spots, in Paris, wherever it is that you can go to, right? But in terms of the opportunity, especially on the continent, right, with what you're saying, it's almost that same thing around. Let's step back from the solution and let's step back from this is what exists to say what is the opportunity, right? Like I actually really like to travel. I know, like I'll find one random Instagram post. Like this guy, I think me Ifagbemi is the guy that does this really good drone shots in recent times of these really nice places, and unconsciously that has created a huge curiosity in me, right? I'm sure there's some place in Enugu that someone showed some, water, just those little things, right? But we're solving the wrong side because the reality is that even from a revenue generating standpoint, you're trying to go with the slice of the pie when you can get the larger part of the pie by unlocking, places that right now don't have that revenue, right? So in some way, the model that you mean is describing where you find ways somewhere that today there are many places. I'm sure you probably know them because you're in the space already. It might mean that you have a physical element to it. It might not be fully digital to begin with. Like I'm sure the place in Badagry is called, I've forgotten what it's called. But like I went there a couple of years ago. I've not been since, but I remember the experience was great. But I've not had anything come up to my area of awareness in recent times that has made me want to go there. If you find a way to find spots like that, if there's a way you can create, for me, it's almost about how do you create back end revenue that is just because whatever money you want to make from a marketplace is going to be nothing compared to if you find ways to be able to all these places actually increase their revenue. And there's an opportunity to be able to do that for a lot of them, right? So I would say maybe take a step back. It's fine that you have it in your roadmap, but take a step back and look at the problem a little bit differently. It might not hurt to take a step back, look at the problem a little bit differently. Yeah, don't fall with the fancy thing about what's it called. We need to market Nigeria. I don't think the problem is that big. Let's even start with the basic things. These really great spots where people that are in Lagos, people that are in Abuja, and are in the urban cities are forgotten to go back to. How do you help them unlock and find those spaces? I think if you do that, you have a better position to even create the ecosystem of the tour guides, of whoever it is that then service those places. And there's a larger share of the revenue that your business can potentially make. I think there's a huge opportunity here. I think if you go to East Africa is, they like to travel, they figured out the ecosystem is growing. But even there's still a lot more that needs to happen. But I think it's primarily an information problem. I don't think it's going to be a pure digital play, right? I think that there's still a significant amount of work that needs to be done with boots on the ground, but there's a huge opportunity there.
I have the opposite opinion about this. I think sometimes I look at these things, right? And honestly, I just think when I think through the numbers, and don't forget, my day job for the past 10 years has been taking money from people, deploying it into businesses, then returning 5 times the money to those people at the end of the day. So I have to really think through the numbers quite critically to make sure, because I'm the face actually of that business. So I look them in the eye when I'm collecting the money. And some of them, I can remember for my first fund, somebody moved from Ikoyi back to his house in Surulere to be able to bring out the money. So obviously for that man, I had to give him back a very, very good return because he moved house to back me. So I always have to think every business that I'm looking at, that can this thing actually scale to at least 30, 40, $50 million in revenue. And one of the numbers that you said is that you want $100 from a certain number of young people. Now, if you remember the first pitch, I said most Lagosians earn less than ₦1 million a year. So are they going to spend 200K on tour? It's going to be difficult, right? So I think, that 200K per year, you're overestimating Nigerians. And this is the thing, when like the bourgeoisie come to pitch, they're not actually thinking about what is Lagos made of. There are 20 million people in Lagos. Most of them are not earning ₦1 million a year. So to have a venture scale business, you need to have a lot of customers. And the reason why America is so good at venture is not that, apart from the fact that British people may not be as innovative as Americans, they have 300 million people in one country, all spending the same currency, all with big incomes. The poverty line in America is $24,000. So if you're earning below $24,000, that is about how much now? 50 million? 60? Then you're in poverty in that country. So anything that you want to spend, anything that you want to do with money, anything, that thing that you're looking for in life, it's in America. Because it's so big and they have so much money. So when you're doing these businesses with people that are telling you you want $100 a year from them, and they're not even earning up to ₦1 million a year, it now becomes difficult to see, okay, how can you build a business of scale for that? And that's actually kind of what's holding back the UK as well. Because as you can see, everything good, Google, Netflix, Facebook, it all comes from America. It doesn't come from the UK. And I use the UK because I grew up there, right? They're not like that innovative compared to Americans because of the migration. Most of the adventurous people from Europe even moved to America in the first place. So that's the initial problem. But the second problem is their market is quite small, right? It's 60 million people. So if you want to scale beyond that 60 million, then you have to learn French or German or Italian. The whole thing now becomes confusing. So even with the disposable income, when you don't have a big population, it kind of falls apart. But with this one, you have the population, but that population, the disposable income, and I don't know if you've read my article, The Mystery of Market Size. I'll direct you to that article. I even have an updated video. It's so the disposable income of Nigerians right now, the average Nigerian is spending 80% of their money on food. So you now have that 20% to play with. So how do you build a business of scale without just targeting the creme de la creme? Because if you target those people, they're not enough to build a venture scalable business. It turns into an SME. And if that's what you want to do, perfect. But if you want to build, and with these pitches, they're not all venture scalable, right? Some of them are SMEs, where four of you will just be managing. And a lot of our parents, my mom is here actually, a lot of our parents started this kind of business. Businesses that, the function of that business was to take care of children, to pay school fees, to maybe go on one holiday a year. And then as soon as that adventure was over, this business is closed off and they enjoyed retirement. If this is that kind of business, and I think so, if you're trying to build a business that serves 5, 6, 10 million people, you can't get that from these people that I'm looking at outside. You might have to target, let me tell you the two groups of people that come to my mind when I think of tourism in Africa. Black Americans. They're very nostalgic right now about Africa. And if you can, they have money, that one is for sure. At least the kind of money that you're looking for, they're not going to spend $100. They have thousands of dollars to spend. Even though they are poor in America, they are rich in Nigeria. So, and they're very nostalgic about Africa. They want to come, they want to see where the slavery, they want to go to Badagry. So this is a very, very juicy market for you. And Black British as well. I was part of them. Do you know that I was a member of the Ekiti Association of London without even seeing Ekiti for like 15 years, wishing that I was going to see the place? So if you target Black British people, also a very vulnerable group of people that don't know, they want to see where they're from, but they don't know how to go about it. So, and they have money. At least the average Black British person is earning that above £100,000 a year. So that's the person that you can now say that you're going to get $5,000 per person from, and they can do it. But in Nigeria, I find that when you're trying to build businesses of scale, you hit a wall where people just can't afford it. So the numbers, I'd love to understand how you're thinking about those numbers, even if they're taking buses. But that $100 is going to be hard for these people if you look outside.
Maybe I can respond to that. Sure. So this is our thinking around numbers. So for one, we are targeting of the 400 million young people that we said are in Africa, right? Around 45% of them are the ones that we highlighted that are employed and live in urban areas. This becomes our focus, right? Of this 180 million, we're looking at 2 million. That's how we got to the 200 million. That's like 1%. So we know that for majority of people, it's a top pyramid problem. And also we are doing an Africa focus, not Nigeria alone. So significantly, we're also aware that there's a diaspora market for this. In fact, we've done one tour that has been guiding a diaspora, people who have come back to Nigeria who wants to do Badagry, and we've done that for them. But it's not the focus, it wasn't the focus of why we got into like the business. It just happened to be that people were looking for someone to run that trip, and we are like available to also do that as well. So eventually we can make money from them, from like if you're selling guides on the platform, and then you can find those kind of people. But our core focus is on young people because we can relate to the problem that they are facing, and we're trying to unlock that and solve that for them.
Right now. But yeah, I understand that. But getting to that number, even let's say you target, if you do 200, like 20,000 people is going to be hard in Lagos right now, in Nigeria. And African, like wherever, like Nigeria, like people feel like Africa is like a very lucrative place. But once you go, like you thank God for Nigeria when you go to Mali. Like those markets around Nigeria are actually much smaller. This is the main markets. Once you start going to Togo and all of these places, they look like tier 2 kind of cities in Nigeria. Like all over these places. So if you can't make it in Nigeria, then it's very difficult to make it in Chad or Mali or Sierra Leone, because those places, or Liberia, because those ones are even, their situation is even, as much as we complain about Nigeria, their GDP per capita is so much smaller than ours. I mean, we make a lot of noise about Rwanda. Rwanda's GDP per capita is like $800. It's one of the poorest countries on earth. So like Nigeria is a good part of Africa, except we want to go to Egypt, maybe Morocco, South Africa. But Nigeria is really, really, as much as we complain, when you start going around, you realize that Nigeria is actually a massive, massive market. And something that is not really selling in Nigeria, or people are too poor to afford in Nigeria, don't try to sell it in Chad, because they're far, far poorer.
One interesting thing you guys need to also do is lots of research. One particular value chain for a sector that you has very, very, very helps.
Okay, maybe just to comment on what everyone has pretty much said. That when looking at the problem, we are very well aware that this is not the bottom of pyramid problem. So, but we understand from interacting with youth as a youth that they find expression in traveling, and they actually do want to travel. So any salary increase, any small money, they want to splurge, and they can do this through traveling. So one opportunity. So also, while looking at the markets, we observe that there is the African market, there's also the diaspora market to Africa, and there's also the world market as well as we can serve. So also, we understand perfectly that there's also the destination problem. There's the information gap that's actually missing. And so all of this is what actually informs our roadmap. So all of this, we have thought about them. We had them in a very robust governmental research group, research folder that we did a whole lot of research, talking to people. So we went to Landmark. So we've been going to events. So we had Beach Friday yesterday to also hear people's feedback and also talk to young people. So we have a video recording of the project owner at Credo, who said he wants to travel, but there is no one single platform that he can actually find. Like he's thinking of traveling, but there is no one single platform in Africa that can actually help him solve that problem. And that's why I feel like this is low-hanging fruit. It helps us build infrastructure to actually enter the market, so which is the market space that we can actually get people in. So then we can now start building on those blocks that we've created. So on our roadmap, we have the block that's coming up, so which we are going to start telling the destination stories, like he has mentioned. So this actually what informed our roadmap. So we understand perfectly that it's not a top of pyramid. It's not a bottom of pyramid problem, but we are going to try and do our best to actually solve it in the best possible way.
Respond to his question. All right, thank you so much, guys.
So how are you thinking about fraud? And I'm asking this because I have had to engage a supposed tourist company one time, paid about 250K for 2 days to some place in Nigeria, and stories entered the matter. So how you think about fraud? How again are you going to ensure that I set up a travel company, come on your site, but it's just to scam? How are you thinking about that? I haven't heard that.
So currently, we are ensuring that we're working with regulators. So we have partnered with Nigerian Association of Tour Operators, and it's part of our KYC to ensure that whichever vendor is coming on our platform is actually from the pipeline of regulated businesses. So you can't just build something and list on our platform without being verified. So that's one way to that we are trying to solve for that.
But also, we plan to do KYC. I think I talked about it in passing here in this part, right? After we source for the vendors, we actually realized that fraud is actually one of the biggest problems also being experienced. And that's why we feel like, let us handle that trust problem for you. You can find them on Instagram, yes, but you don't know who you're talking to, right? If we are selling that door to you, you have the guarantee that, okay, you can come and drag us later because we're the ones who allow these guys on the platform. So it's a risk for us, and that's why we are incentivized to do that work of finding out these people, getting their information, their registration documents and everything to confirm that these guys are legitimate individuals and that the business that they're doing is actually going to add value for you as well as for us.
Most times we say that tourism or travel is not a bottom of the pyramid problem, but what we are solving for is the human need for fun. Fun, the dopamine that comes from it, save people from depression, and that is exactly what we are solving for. So we are trying to tell our story and build an ecosystem that will make people to see that rush that you get from travel is worth forfeiting some of your meal budgets for. So we are competing for monthly budget. Yes, we are competing with your budget plan, and we want to begin to reorient people that you don't have to wait till you are old and going on tours that you cannot really absorb the environment to go on tours, to begin to jump on it even now that you're not earning so much from where you are, to see that rush you get from fun is what's budgeting for.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, always got advantage. Always. With that, we've come to the end of the pitches. I'd like you to please give yourselves a round of applause. And let's give our judges a round of applause. So we're going to take a short break, about 10 minutes break, for the judges to go to the room to compile scores and close out. Elijah will lead this way. Yes, please can I invite the judges to go with Elijah? Just a very quick compilation. In the meantime, we have coffee, water, are there snacks? Did I imagine jollof rice? They have drinks at the back. And we'll reconvene in about 15 minutes.
Right.
Chairman, how you don't put the weight right here. Say your story.
That was such a below the belt shot.
When they ask your problem,
Thank you.
Tonight we party, bro. Party hard. Yeah, tonight. Raila.
feedback. If you try to book time with any of these people, your pocket will tell you that you can't. Most times you don't even have the access, first of all. So it's a good way to get that and to sell and to explain your business to an audience. I'm sure some of the people even in your cohort understand your business better, having listened to you pitch. But it's also a chance for you to do a sense check that this thing that I've been working on, will it be worth my time? Will it be worth my energy? But it means nothing if you don't put in the work after today. So this is not the end of the journey, of your journey. This is literally the beginning. We're going to have people that will place first, second, third, but it doesn't mean that, they're all going to walk outside the door the same way the person who didn't place first, second, third will. I'm just trying to point out that don't let it work against you, and don't let it put anything in your head that you have arrived. You have not arrived. You are just the best person to pitch today. Your work starts now. And if you're not one of the top 3, take it as motivation that your work starts now. So, having said all of this, I'd like to invite our judges to present the award for the top 3. So for third position, I'd like to invite Mr. Nkem to come out. Please put your hands together for him.
Hi guys. Okay, so just want to say well done to everybody for your presentation. You guys did quite well. I think you should be proud of yourselves. Come together, feed into teams, and be able to present intelligently here in about 2-3 minutes thereabout. I think quite a number of people cannot do that. And I was here a couple of months ago last year as well. So happy to see all you guys again. Happy to see where we are today. So for we're picking 3, and I'm presenting for the third. Do we have it on screen? Okay. So is there a drum roll also? Okay, somebody should probably put the drum roll on the laptop. So on the third position, we have G Energy.
They do. Okay, thank you. Hold on, we're expecting your platform. Thank you very much. Okay. Molly. Well, 3. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Dr. Ola to hand out the prize for the second position. Please put your hands together for her.
So congratulations to everybody. I think the quality of pitches and the passion that I heard today was really inspiring and energizing for me. So well done to every single person that pitched. One of the comments that I want to make is something that a lot of big men will not tell you about entrepreneurship, but I want to tell you because I think it's really important at this stage of life. All the 40-year-olds, probably people that are double your age, that are working in KPMG and Zenith Bank and all of these jobs, it's not because they're not smart enough to do entrepreneurship or they're not ambitious enough to do entrepreneurship. I feel like the biggest decision in entrepreneurship is the kind of lifestyle that you want to lead. And entrepreneurs when you choose entrepreneurship, you're really choosing a type of lifestyle that you don't have much time for anything else. And there are a lot of things that matter in life that you are not going to just have time for. So as you're taking the route into entrepreneurship, I want you to think about that very, very carefully. Like I said, it's not about ambition. It's not about how smart you are. It's about what kind of life you want to live and the kind of things that you want to have time for. And one of my favorite books is called Greatness by Dean Keith Simonton. And he kind of sums up the lifestyles of, all the great entrepreneurs that you know. And he says that making it big is a career. People that wish to do so must organize their entire lives around a single enterprise. They must be monomaniacs, even megalomaniacs about their pursuit. They must start early, labor continually, and never give up the cause. Success is not for the lazy. With that, I'd like to announce the second place to Sabi Stella.
Guys, one more time, a round of applause for Tabitha. And thank you, Dr. Ola, for those wise words. And I've always been wondering why I'm poor. Maybe it's because of this entrepreneurship. Finally, I'd like to invite Mr. Yomi to give his remarks and also announce the first prize of today's pitch event.
Thank you. Again, I have to join the other judges in commending all of you. I have to be honest with you, even for my business, if I was to do a pitch, I probably won't make a pitch as good as the pitches I heard today. Indeed, I was saying to my colleague, Chidera, who's here, that she's going to have to do a pitch. And what I'll do is that when she does that pitch, I'll send it to somebody so that I can disseminate it here. So when you guys see her, you can coach her, because I doubt that she will beat anything you guys have done today. A few thoughts though. It's a very difficult country. It's a very difficult world. It's more competitive. Problems are increasing, challenges are better positioned to defeat normal human beings, etc. Yet in that world, in that environment, we must thrive and we must succeed. To that end, solutions have to be real solutions. They have to be products, ideas, designed after exhaustive checks on what the real problem is and how to measure. And then you keep doing that repeatedly. And the products that we use today that we enjoy are developed and supported by human beings doing that. And so in some of the ideas today, there's an opportunity to do that a little bit more, and I think we try to stress that. But it's important that you don't see today as a judgment on anything you've done. It's part of the process. And so the winners today, or the company who's taken first place, may have done that a bit more than everybody else. I was fortunate to listen
Yes. Fantastic. You have everyone?
Sorry, guys. Calm down now. All right, today is Mr. Fola's birthday. And on behalf of 2024, we are wishing you a happy birthday. And we pray that long life and prosperity.